Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today I have got from Apple Blossom these wonderful flower forming dies. We've got a dahlia, a rose, a peony, and daffodil set. I can't wait to show you what I did with them, so come back and play with us. So here is the daffodil set with the daffodil card. As you can see, it's got crazy dimension. This is not a card that you could mail. This would be a card that you would place inside of a box to then mail with your gift, or to hand deliver, which is always a nice way to receive a card. I'll also show you some alternative surfaces to use these with. Now the background of my card, which is 5 by 6.5 inches. This is the Secret Garden cardstock, patterned cardstock rather. Gave this great background with the leaves on it. And then I also used for the greeting, this is 9 Little Words die set, which is just fantastic and has all these little combinations that you can put with it. I love this set. So to put together the daffodil set, I used yellow cardstock. It needs to be double-sided, okay? And the cardstock pack I used for this is all of these things are listed down below in our supplies, so definitely check that out. We're going to need some flower forming tools. Okay, all of this available at Paper Wishes. So we've got our tool set. This set is by Crafter's Companion. And we are going to use the die shapes that look like this, okay? These great little magnetic sheets are the magnetic die and stamp storage panels. This comes 2 to a pack, and they're 8.5 by 11. Great to put in a binder to store all of your dies, so I thought I would show you that. But for my purposes, they keep me nice and organized. So this is going to be the center of your large and small daffodil, okay? That's this part right here. And then of course we've got the leaves, which we're going to, or the petals, which we're going to layer. And these are the fantastic, beautiful green stems and leaves. These are also just smaller leaves in case you wanted to do something a little bit different. All right, so I have gone ahead, I'm going to make the large flower, and what we do first is we're going to take some yellow ink and we're going to be inking the edges of this. I like to use daubers for my flowers, especially I'm going to be making some out of foam. So paper doesn't really matter, you could use a blender brush, but I'm going to be using daubers today, and they come in a little pack like that, like this. And I'm going to take my little dauber and put some little yellow ink on it. I'm using Honey Pot. This is water reactive dye ink. I'm not using it for that purpose, just for the color. I'm not going to be spritzing any water on here. And we're just taking that and just going around the little edge there. I should be using my craft mat. Got to get my craft mat. Here we go. Come on, Lene, we got to do it right. All right, here's our little craft mat. And got our dauber back. All right, so we're just going around the edge just like this, and then flip that over. We've got to do it on both sides, just like that. It's really fast. And then we're doing that on all of these pieces right here, okay? Now we're going to get out our little flower forming tools, and also a bone folder is really handy with this, because before you, you're going to use your flower forming tools on these petals, but on this piece right here, I found it best to just take my bone folder and do this. You want to round it, okay, so that it's doing this. All right, and then we're going to take these pieces and we're going to take really our largest tool here, and we're just going like this. We're just curving that a little bit like that. I'm going to do that on both sizes. You need two, well actually these are the same size, you just need 2 of them. All right, now we're going to take a little bit of Cosmic Shimmer Specialist Acrylic Glue. We're going to put a dot right here. Come on, glue. There we go. And then we're going to place this right here, and you see how I am placing those leaves and staggering those? That's what we're going to do right there. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to roll it like this. And I found that using, all right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the pokey tool, anything that's sort of, use a skewer or something like that, but something that you're just very thin and small. You want to take that and you're just going to wrap this and then start to roll. And it doesn't have to be a perfectly tight roll or anything like that. You just are getting it a little bit like that. And then we're going to loosen it up a little bit. Okay. Then we're going to take our glue and we're going to glue the edge here so it's secure. Sure, my glue dried up when I was looking for my pokey tool. All right. A little bit of glue there, and we're just going to put that right that. All right, so as you can see, we're just really loosening that up, but the curve is very nice. And then we're going to take some more of this wonderful Cosmic Shimmer Specialist acrylic glue. We're going to place that right in the center. And then while that's drying, I want to show you, you can put a few little stamens on the inside, and they come in little packages like this. We have white, we have yellow, and I like to cut them just long strands, just like 3 of them. You just take your little scissors, cut 3 of those off, put some glue on the end of those, and then just stick them right in the side there, right inside there. And there you go, there's your daffodil. Okay. Mine are curved up a little bit on my card, standing a little taller there. There you go. All right, so next card. So much to show you guys. All right, so for this next one, I want to show you some things other than cards for the bases of these. So this is the flower forming rose, and for this one, I made a little magnet. That's sweet on the back, a couple little magnets. You know, I just use those magnets that you get for free that you keep on your refrigerator for businesses. And I just cut those up and I just stick them on the back of my magnets with my chipboard, and they hold very nicely. So the base of this is the fancy rectangle chipboard. I just put some glue on the surface of this. I covered the surface with Dotted Duo number 2, this wonderful pink dot. On the reverse side of this, yes, it's got these larger dots. So that's what we used. And then I just use my tiny little scissors, and I like to start from the back and cut around this little shape to cut away the paper. And then I find it really useful to take a sanding tool and go over the edges of that, because these little parts are hard to cut around. You know, they're a little tricky. So when you take your sanding block and you sand those in, then you get this nice perfect shape with a lot less effort. All right, so you've got the base done, and then we're going to build our rose. So for this one, I'm using foam. Flower foam set. This is a rose set, that's the color. It's got 2 shades of pink. I'm using the pink blossom, and then it's also got some leaves here, and this is the forest green. All right, so this is what the dies look like for this set. So I'm using these 2 shapes, and then you're going to use a few of these individual petals to kind of, you know, beef that rose up a little bit. I should also mention that the little greeting, Simple Joys, I used from Tiny Words and Phrases collection of stickers. These are Dazzle stickers, and I used this gold one set right there. All right, I've got all of my little petals and things right here. All right, there we go. Now, oops, got my little dauber. I've already got some pink on that. And I'm using Jelly Bean Pink, little prism ink pad here. There we go. Now, what I have done with this one is I've gone ahead and die cut them, inked the edges of them, and then used my little tool to shape them, and I've already glued these 2 together, okay, because this one's a little more time consuming. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your little ball tool. Oh, I should mention. Now, with the flower foam, you want to heat it, okay? And that allows it to shrink down just a tiny little bit, makes it a little more pliable, and it holds its shape then. So to do that, I'm taking an iron, okay? Now we're gonna lay it on its side. Make sure you take the water out of the reservoir. In the past, I've done that, and I've turned it on its side, and then the water goes everywhere. Another little helpful thing is to have a pokey tool or some tweezers, so that you can then take your little petals. Okay, you're just going to place them. Actually, I'm just going to use my pokey tool to do this. You're just going to hold it right here. Okay. And I have this on low, on delicate. You do not need to have this a hot iron. In fact, that's not a good idea. Okay, so I've heated it. Now I'm placing it here. I'm going to take one of my smaller ends of my ball tools and I'm just going to do this. Okay. And then I've got my shape. Although I did forget to tell you, how about inking? So you're just going to take your dauber, ink it like that. Then we're going to take it and place it on the iron. Just takes a second or two on there. Go. And now we're going to place it here and shape it. And you see how it's just very concave now? That's because we have heated it and we shrank it a little bit. And now it's ready to shape. So now what we're going to do is take my iron and move this out of the way so I don't burn myself. Okay, so now we're going to use a little hot glue. And we've got all of our little petals and they're shaped. And we're going to take our little petals, put a little dot of glue, except a glue stick in here. And if you're looking for a glue gun, you know, this is just one I got on Amazon. They're about $5. Totally worth having if you're interested in making flowers with them, or, you know, every crafter's got to have a glue gun. All right, so you can see I'm just putting these here and I'm just layering them, 4 of them. Round and around we go. And there's going to be lots of glue strings. We're going to deal with those at the end. Go. And now we're going to take, sometimes I just use 3 on the center part, sometimes I use 4. Now we're taking the next size down and we're just placing 3 there, kind of staggering them so that they are not lined up exactly with the other petals. All right, now we're taking the smallest petal, get rid of all those glue strings. We're taking this tiniest little petals here. We're going to zoom in on this, Steve. We're going to roll one of these petals to be the center part of the rose. Little part right there. So what you do is you just take this little one and you're just going to roll it like that. And we're just going to put a little bit of glue at the base. I like to use this is like a high temperature glue gun and sticks, but because it's a tiny glue gun, it doesn't get quite as hot as those huge ones. So I feel very comfortable just sticking my finger in there. Okay, so we've rolled that. Okay, and now we're going to take, we're going to take some of these petals, these tiny little petals. I'm going to put those in the center. So just 2 of the tiniest. And then you're going to take this little one that we rolled. I pre-rolled this one, so I'm going to use this one. A little glue on it. And that's going to go right in the center. A little off center on this one. There we go. So this is a very opened rose. And then for the little bud, I just took 2 of the larger petals and I rolled them just like I did the small one. I rolled the first one and then I wrapped the second petal around the first and rolled that as well. And then this little piece right here, I took that and just heated that as well. Now I found 2 purposes for this piece. So we'll take our smallest tool. Like you can either take this piece right here and you can glue it onto the bottom of the rose, okay? And that's if the bottom was going to show, maybe you put a stem on it. But I like to take it and just do this, push this down. And it's got that concave shape. And then I put my bud that I wrapped right here, just stuck that in there with a little glue and then just formed it around the bud. And for the leaves, I just heated those as well and took my little tool and just made those have a little bit of a curve on them. And then I just glued the leaves down first and then the blossom. And then I just tucked this little one right in there. Very simple, very sweet little magnet. Great. So I got to show you. Oh yeah, let's look at some dahlias. Oh, excuse me, peony. Peony. So for the peony, I am going to use, ooh, there we go. Oh, so many goodies here. So for the peonies, we're going to make a little plaque that you could put up on an easel. So let's start with the base. So here I have got this 8-inch scalloped oval chipboard and then the 7 1/4 oval chipboard. All of this is linked down below the video at Paper Wishes, and it's all under products used. You can also click on the photos of each card to see all the specific ones that went with a specific project. And if you're watching us on YouTube, click on the link below the video and it'll take you to this webisode page. Okay, so what we're doing with this one is I took my purple ink pad, this is purple velvet prism ink, just took the surface of the ink pad and I just went around it like this, okay? Very, very simple. And then on this oval, I put glue on the surface and I covered that with this great swirl paper, and this is from Hydrangea Heaven patterned cardstock. And we're going to glue that right here. So I'm just going to take, boy, I'm really having trouble with my glue under these lights today. Let's see. Using my little paper clip to get that done. I need to put my lid on it, then it won't dry out. All right. Putting my lid on my glue. There we go. We're going to glue that right there. So that's why I didn't color into the center of this scalloped oval, because why? You're just going to cover that. All right, now I have made these beautiful little peonies. Okay? And they're going to go right here, and I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to show you how to make the peonies. So first of all, I'm going to glue these down. One. Another one. And then I've got another one of those little buds that I made. Ooh, maybe we need to pull out, Steve. We're like really blurry. And I've got some leaves here that I've already done some forming with. Putting these leaves around. Go. How many of you like to make your own flowers? I love to make them. I love the fact that I can control the color. It's just all part of that creative process. I just love it. What is your favorite kind of flower to make? Let me know in the comments. All right, here's my last one. Oh, I should show you the dies for these peonies too. I'm looking for the shapes. Here we go. These are the peonies. Sweet. They have this nice little curved edge. And then we've got individual petals too. And I'll show you what to do with those. All right, and now I've got my little blossom here. My bud. Right there. And then I've also got a little bit of ribbon, and I like to just make a bow, just a standard bow. And then we're gonna pinch that, kind of pull up the center. A little glue there, and I'm going to put the purple bow over by the blue flower. It really shows up more. All right, so there we've got our little plaque ready here. Now what do we do with that? You can either put some ribbon on this and hang it, or you can just take a little easel. Okay, here's our little, whoops, here's our little easel. Just put that right there and display that. What a great gift too, you know, that you made this for a friend. And oh, by the way, I made those flowers too. What? All right, so let's show you how to put together the peony. So I'm going to start with, I've got my foam here that I've cut out of. This is the flower foam set. This is blue violet. All of these are going to be linked down below. And I used the blue and the light violet color. That. So I've already die cut that, and then I'm going to take a little bit of Blue Lagoon and take my little dauber. And what I did is I just went around the edge just like this. I like to use the daubers on the foam because if you try to use brushes on them and you're doing that swirling motion with the brush, this stuff tears very easily before it is sort of cooked on the iron. So we like to be really careful with that. All right, so now I'm going to take the iron again, put that on there. You can see it's already starting to flatten a little bit. All right, so that while that's hot, I'm going to take, it's not really hot, while it's warm, I'm going to take and just pleat those edges there. Each edge of the petal, I'm just sort of pleating that and going like this, and it makes that ruffled edge that the peony is so known for. That's what we're doing, just like that. All the way around. All right, and I've done that on all of my pieces here, my 4 sizes, and also on these little petals. All right, so let's get our flower forming tools here. Put a little dot of glue, center here, and oops, I started with the wrong size flower. That's okay, we'll just do this. Start with the middle. Right, and then what I like to do is once I have that glue on there and the glue is warm, I'm pushing down on that. Okay, now I'm going to the bottom here because I started in the wrong order. Goes right there, and we're doing this again. Okay, we've got the last one here. This one I'm going to go ahead. And you'll notice these have already been heated, rippled and everything. You know, the ed's already pleated and everything. And they're not hot, they're not warm, and they still allow themselves to be manipulated. So it's not like you have to heat them and then hurry up and shape them. No, you can slow down a little bit. Oops, this one I did not get off center, you guys. I do not like how that looks. So I'm gonna pull that off, try that again. So when you line your petals up one right on top of the other, they're all aligned, they don't look natural, so you want to stagger them as you go around. All right, so that is the base of the flower. Now we're going to use these little petals. And I like to first take the smallest size petals, and we're going to glue those in the center. You're just sort of taking these individual ones to fill in, just like that. I should mention, it's really nice when you're inking the edges of these flowers to ink both sides because they do tend to show on both sides. This is where your little pokey tool is handy to get those down in there. And you're just going to take these different sizes and you're just building up the flower. So you could even take this size, the largest size. I actually like to cut, sometimes they're a little long, cut that off. A little glue. And then you can take this and just tuck this right in here. Okay, and that's just building up that outside edge. You could just keep doing that. Like I said, I like to trim them a little bit because since the center is already glued, if you just tried to use the whole thing, sometimes they stick out a little too far. There, just like that. And you're just building up the flower like that once you've got those 4 main pieces done. Now let me show you how to do the little bud that I did right here. Just going to take this, put a little bit of glue on it, and this is a medium-sized one. And this is where we're just rolling that, kind of like we did with the pink flower with the rose. Okay, now we're going to take this one, put a little glue on it, and put it inside of another one that's a little larger. Now we're just taking this piece. So the finished product, when they're all glued together, and you saw me do that, is you get some really nice ruffly edge. I think this might be my favorite flower with all those ruffled edges. All right, so let's take a look now at the dahlias. So the dahlia die set looks like this. Is 9 pieces. And the card I made, this, and this is a 6 by 5.5 inch card. And I covered this with paper from Wood and Textures paper pack, and I forgot to grab that one, but I'll list it down below and all the products used. And I did an oval die for the center part here. And then I just, once my flowers were formed, I just sort of glued them around the edge of the oval. And this little greeting right here, this comes from the We're Together Pastel and Pearl set of Dazzle stickers. And I used this really pretty green. I thought it went really nicely with the leaves. Now for the flowers, I used this pack called Salmon, and it's got these wonderful shades here. It's got this beautiful light green and then a salmon and then nice pink and this sort of ivory color. So this is the yellow and the salmon and the light green, and I am going to start with a flower here and show you how to put this together. So for the edges, I'm using, well, on this one, on the yellow, I used, the honey pot color along those edges. And on this really pretty orange, I used the fire coral, which is sort of a nice deep orange. And so let's go ahead, and these pieces, I'm using sort of this ivory color on this one. Let's take our tool here and heat this up. I'm going to do 2 of these together. Sure this is on, yes. Didn't turn off. I'm going to turn up our temperature a little bit here. I think if you can like set your finger on there, it's probably too low. Okay. And then with this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take very carefully, hold your finger at the base of the petal, and then you're just going to sort of pinch and twist it just a little bit. Pinch and twist all the way around. And that's just going to elongate that petal a tiny little bit. We're going to take our tool out in the center. There we go. Do the same with this one. We're just going to be making a little small size flower here. You know what? I think my iron turned off. I don't think these are hot enough. Okay, my iron had definitely shut off, so we're going to redo these 2 flowers here. You can see once you put them on, they just start to relax right away. That's how you know your iron's on hot enough. All right, so we've already elongated our petals. Now we're going to just take a tool here. And I like to do these individually instead of stacking them up and putting them together. Make sure you get those petals offset. Really important to get that shape what we like. And then for the center, take this little piece right here, put a little dot of glue in the center, and then we're just going to all those pieces and for those little petals and form them to the center, and then kind of pinch that. And that's going to be the centerpiece. Glue on that, there we go. And then that's going to go right there. Right, now we've got our little dahlia shape. And then you can see I just sort of put these in little clusters and tucked these in a little bit. One of the leaves here, I just used a nice green. This is pine tree. I'm going to put a little bit around the edge of the pine tree. Just using that dauber just to get a little different shading around the edges. Oops, putting that on the surface. And then on this one, we're going to just take that and just curl that a little bit like that. And then this, we can just go ahead and lift up the flowers. So I like to put the flowers down first and then the leaves. Just like that. All right, so that's how we're putting together all of these flowers. These flower forming dies are wonderful, you guys. I think they're super versatile. I like that you can put them on cards or that you can put them on chipboard and do different things with them. And we've got a great money saver. It's on the right-hand side of our screen. If you're looking to buy individual things, one die, one ink pad, one tool, look down below and all the products used. You can add those right to your cart. And if you're watching us on YouTube, look in the description box below the video. It'll take you right to this webisode page. And you can buy whatever little thing catches your eye. We really have fun putting these together. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.